Okay, so a little different setup here. Um, and, um, and if you could tell by the little Batcave backdrop, yeah, we're talking about Batman Arkham, or the whole couple of games, the whole Batman Arkham saga, but it's gonna be very, very compressed because it's a lot from Batman Arkham Asylum all the way through Arkham Knight. And yes, for those people that are wondering, what about Batman Arkham Origins? We are gonna include that as well and give some love to Arkham Origins, because personally for me, when I played that game, I was hooked too. So without further ado, we're gonna jump right into the very first classic game, chronologically wise, that came out, which was Batman Arkham Asylum. So with this game, I was immediately hooked on it, even though I played it very recently, and this game came out, not sure exactly when, but I will probably Google it sometime later. But it was definitely years ago, or like very years ago, when I didn't have the opportunity to play it. But by the time I was able to play it recently, it was amazing. It was like amazing take on Batman as a character himself, and testing him as a whole, and trying to combat like a bunch of like classic villains like in the asylum itself, and there's like it's a whole ride, you know, and there's like a bunch of villains you come across, like from minor to the major villains, including like the main villain in the story, which is the Joker, which you'll probably see a lot in the Arkham franchise. He's like a recurring villain that pops in like a lot. So, and yeah, so he's a definitely 100% recurring villain that pops in once, or lurks around, or just pops in like often. So, and what would I give Arkham Asylum after rigorous amount of grinding and combating and numerous amount of trying to go through the story mode? I would probably give it like a 8 or 9 out of 10, and that's primarily just because of the amount of stuff that you could do, even though it's compressed in that one Arkham Asylum island. But still, like, it gives you like a lot of chances to do a lot of things in the island, and it's like a very strong introduction to Batman, and even though it's a separate universe, but it's still like a good introduction to the main character known as the Batman, you know. And the other thing too, what made it more, even though gamer-wise it was frustrating but fun, I played it on hard mode. For those hard mode on the Arkham Asylum wise, it's a bit more different. It's kind of more like the Game Plus mode style, which like they implemented in the future games, where it's like normally they would have like the lightning counter icon on there, but if you put it on hard, that won't be there. So I didn't know this going through, but did it. That was kind of my mistake, but it made it more interesting. So on to the next game, which was known as Arkham City. Now Arkham City, not the first time I played it, but this was my very first Arkham game, and first time I played it, I made the very bad or dumb mistake on playing it on my doo-doo MacBook Air back in high school. But still, it was still 100% worth the experience, even though my MacBook Air got fried at the end. But but what made it worth it was the continuation of the story, where he's put into was the whole setting of what Gotham once was, but now it's turned into a whole prison, and yes, another prison, and it's run by Hugo Strange, and now he has to figure out like what he's planning and everything. And there's a bunch of other side villains, including the Joker. He's back again, but because of like spoilers, the previous thing that happened to him in Arkham Asylum, he's dying. So, and he's trying to plot to try to, stay alive. So there's a lot of things that are happening in Arkham City, and like it kind of like playing through that, it kind of made things a lot more giddy, made a lot of things more fun, So with that whole thing, with that whole experience, it kind of made things fun, and it made me like pay attention. And also that kind of introduced, one of the things I introduced was playing other side characters from the Bat family, specifically Catwoman. Catwoman's side story was kind of like the interesting, fun part where she takes vengeance on Two-Face, and that was where like I find like where it's like it kind of interesting where like you not only get to play from Batman's perspective, but also Catwoman's perspective as well. So, and also they added some like simulator challenges with Nightwing, Robin, and Catwoman 2. But mainly the game changer was they played as like they let you play as Catwoman, like in the main story. So overall, what I would give this at the end would be probably like an 8.5, close to like around 8, or probably a 9 actually, because like there's like a lot of stuff going on, and like it made things like more intense and everything, including with the Tiger Guards and everything. So it's like I'd say 9. Like, so it probably intensified like things like for me like when playing it too. So did I put this on hard for this one? Or second time I played it? Probably not, but who knows? So we're gonna rewind it back for a bit and go trace it back way before Arkham Asylum, like story-wise. This is universal-wise, and go back to the one I first time ever played, and sadly the one when it first came out didn't receive a amount of love, which was, you guessed it, Arkham Origins. So Arkham Origins was the one that it kind of didn't, it was kind of a good prequel, I guess, to kind of kind of build things up. For example, like Riddler's character and everything, and like a few other characters, like, and like also one of the main villains in there, obviously, too, was that introduced him and made Batman question, who the heck is this guy? Is the Joker, And I wasn't kidding. Like when like in the whole franchise of this thing is Joker does appear a lot. And how did he meet him? He met him through Origins. He just popped in. And how did he meet him? Through that story context, he kidnaps Black Mask and took his place, basically identity theft, and puts a hit on Batman. So, and in a nutshell, he was like, it's just a prank, but in a very Joker sinister way. So, but now that you're all caught up, so like that was like kind of a nutshell, where he hires like a multitude of assassins to kind of end his life. So, in like in a very like black market like assassin or Joker fashion way. So, and it was like a very interesting like way to kind of like saying like a story where it's like before they were this, they were like some of them were this, but like it kind of builds them up, including like Harley Quinn, where it's like before she was this, she was like like a doctor, like a psychiatrist or psychiatric, I believe. It'll be up on the screen if I can't remember. But it's some doctor in the medical field, but she was that before then. It kind of like just builds it up where like it kind of slowly makes them like foreshadow and transition them to like their villain phase, you know? And yeah, it was like kind of a very interesting introduction, at least to most of the character wise. So, but overall, what would I give that Arkham Origins myself? Because while the public, when it first came out, that didn't receive that much love compared to the other games, unfortunately. But what I would personally give it, it would probably be like an 8 or 7, but most like an 8, because like it did like have like a lot of gameplay, like a mouth satisfying gameplay, and I think my favorite part with like gameplay wise, and was, I think a lot of people talk about this, the backlog being like a lot of fun to abuse around and everything. So which in the next installment, which I'll talk about in a bit, they kind of patched, which I'm deeply upset about. But with this one, it story-wise too, as well, it was a good introduction for them to kind of for this whole universe to kind of, you know, introduce like who's who and like who they were before, you know, and like what the whole setting, like what it looked like before everything kind of slowly shifted to like where it was now. So, and so like, would I give an 8 or even a 7? Yes, I would. Like, and this is like out of 10, mind you. So yeah, and this is the last one, one out of all the Batman Arkham saga, and unfortunately to everyone, and the majority agrees with me on this, the Justice League v Suicide Squad does not count, and I'm not counting the VR ones because I haven't touched those at all. So this is only through Batman Arkham, and including Origins, and the last one I'm going to touch on is Batman Arkham Knight. So Arkham Knight is when it came out, it was considered the last one. Well, before they kind of went through with, well, you know, the thing I mentioned. So, and that whole thing was supposed to be it was supposed to just kind of end it off with a bang. And it was like, and to me, like, it was like such like a ride playing Batman Arkham Knight and everything. And it was like a very interesting story with Batman's identity being tested, like heavily being tested. And one cool mechanic that was introduced in the game, which has mixed reviews and everything. Some people like it, some people hate it, is the Batmobile. And while there's the people that hate it, I'm more of like, it's not bad. It's like not really bad per se. And reason I say it's not bad is because of, well, I'm kind of more, I think I get too giddy when I see the Batmobile. So sorry, I guess. So Batmobile is kind of a satisfying thing to drive around. I think if anything that kind of got me up my seat was when I played it. This is kind of the second time I was playing it, was the multi-takedown mechanic. And that was the most fun I had kind of when doing the stealth. I could literally take down like a bunch of thugs like in one flow. Because in the previous ones, you could only take down one and then you have to skedaddle like really quick. But in this one, it's like when you see them, it gives you the option like if you're a takedown, like and this is like once you get the new upgraded Batman V suit. And once you get that, then it's like boom, 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 and then leave. But either way, that's like, you move faster. So, so with that, it's like, it is like an amazing like mechanic they added to the game. And to this day, I still like it, you know? And obviously there's a bunch of combat combos like they add like into like the upgrade wheel, and this day I still like, it's a satisfying thing to kind of like abuse, and like once you like max those things out, it's like you abuse like the thugs and they get beaten up pretty bad, obviously. So there's like a lot like in this game too, like a lot of missions, a lot of villains to kind of fight off. But I think one of the main villains that kind of were more of the annoying ones were, I would say, probably, definitely the annoying ones were the Riddler. Well, the first time I played it was the Riddler, but I think over time it kind of was like, okay, like the Riddler ones were kind of more easier to, or kind of became more tolerable, but still it was annoying. So, and if you look on the internet, there's like a bunch of like Riddler memes where it's like oh, like Riddler trophy, Riddler trophy, Riddler trophy, you know? And it was like a recurring theme in the other ones too, like Asylum, City, and this one was like kind of like a more recurring one too, because like with the map being a bit bigger, because like it's like Gotham itself, so it was trying to find the trophies everywhere. So it was frustrating. So, and also it's like it was different too. It's like if you want to fight Riddler, like find boss at the end, you got to find those Riddler trophies. So I think the most satisfying boss though was probably, there was either the Two-Face fight or Scarecrow itself. So once you reach that ending, it does get interesting. So, but either way, it is like an interesting gameplay, and I would probably give it like, and this is like a strong take, I would probably give it like a 9.5 on this one. And that is just mainly just because it is a, it just literally just end off with a bang. And like I said, like while like they did make some like couple like spin-offs and everything, but it literally ended off like perfectly in the Batman Arkham franchise. So, but yeah, those were my list of the whole Batman Arkham franchise and what I thought of them. And while there was more, sadly, I did not have the chance to play them, and there's a few I chose not to, but these are the main games that I chose to, or have been kind of playing, and that's why I think of them. So, and yeah, that's it. And thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.